keep time, be there, be ready when you are requesting for that ride. Just keep time. It is respectful to the driver. Yeah.
Today we have a customer interview that will be a bit brief, and I will be asking this customer a number of questions with regard to the taxi application that she uses in Nairobi, as well as one of the worst things that has ever happened to her while driving in a taxi. So quickly, please tell us your name.
My name is Grace Misere, and many thanks for inviting me once again in this channel. I love it being here.
All right, so what have you learned from this channel that has helped you in the movement around Nairobi using taxis? One thing that we have taught you through watching our videos.
For sure, I've learned so many things from hearing from drivers' experiences and all that. But what I've learned is that they are serious drivers. They are people that take this business seriously and like a profession. So when I am using this application like a customer, I feel like this is like entering any office. So I don't take it lightly. I take it like any other business transaction that is serious.
Okay.
And thanks for you for putting that out for people to know that this is like any other industry in the line of businesses.
You also told me that you are considering to buy a taxi car and give it to a driver. How far are you with that?
I'm still saving up. Yeah, but I look forward to venturing into that market.
Okay.
Yes.
So have you done the mathematics and tried to imagine how much money you will be making once you buy that car and given to a driver?
So from your videos, I've checked that there are drivers that pay their partners like me 7 to 10,000 depending on the model of the car. So definitely I would love to go for a model that would fetch me higher returns. Not only for me, but also for the driver, so that it's a win-win for the driver and for me. Yes.
And what model of the car is that? I'm asking you this question just to see whether you have done your assignment. Yeah.
So it will be anything between 650 to 1000 cc. Yeah, I think that is manageable. Fuel-wise, it's able to do logistics in the city, you know, and still be able to get you the same money like a Vitz or another car that is 1500 cc. So why go for that very high cc when you can start, you can start with a small cc and still get your returns every week. Yes.
Wow, jipigie makofi tafadhali. I'm very amazed. Actually, you are like speaking the content that we have been preaching throughout in this channel, and I'm very happy to see that you have learned it and you have internalized it, and as you wait to invest, you already have that knowledge in mind. Sawa. So let us now go back to your role as a customer, because right now you are not a partner, you are a passenger, you are a rider. So since when have you, which was the first year when you took your first ride with an online application, if you can remember?
I cannot remember. It must have been like maybe 2019 when I first got employed. That's when I could afford an Uber. Yes. 2019. Yeah.
So in your view, between your first trip with online app and today, what can you say is the difference between the first trip you took and a trip that you would take today?
Back then it was cheap. I don't know. It was when Uber was starting and it had a very small kind of base fare. Until recently, that's when they put the price up. But for me, I didn't see it that expensive. And of course, I took an Uber where because the distance was quite long, it was going to the airport and I couldn't go with Matatu. I just had to use the Uber. Yes.
So you find that back then it was a bit cheaper than today?
At that time, yeah, for me at that time, because it was a long distance and I was going to the airport, it was not that expensive. Yeah.
All right. So on the side of the driver's attitude, can you say that you have noticed a change between back then and now? When do you think drivers were more approachable?
Back then, back then they were good. you couldn't notice a bad attitude from a driver, but right now unaingianga tu zingine, you just unanyamaza tu as long as akufikisha your destination, because wengine hata like they have attitude. Most of them wako na attitude. Ukiwaambia that ndio nashuka stairs, I'm coming, ako like mbona hujafika, what ukimwambia anaenda pale mbele instead of kwenye ulikuwa unaenda, anakataa. So you just keep quiet.
Sawa, thank you so much for that comment, but pia I hope wewe una understand my drivers. Juu hata nyinyi passengers, you order a ride while still you are in the bathroom, you know it really triggers our nerves to release some adrenaline. So I hope you also understand that.
I understand, but it comes from a point of view where like nikioda when I'm already I'm like ready to go, I might have to wait for another like 20 minutes. But when I order 20 minutes before I'm done, it will be like I've saved time. You understand? Yeah.
All right, that makes sense. Then maybe to the most interesting question, and I hope nothing wrong had happened to you. So what is the worst thing that you can say has ever happened to you while riding on a taxi?
For me ni kuhaikiwa the price, because the driver alisema that the place I was going was too interior in his own imagination, so it was to come like 350, but I had to pay 500. I didn't like that experience. So
did it display on the app, or he just added on top of what the app was showing?
No, he explained himself, akasema kusema ukweli this place is so interior, so I have to pay him 500. Yeah.
Was it a request or a command?
Okay, I had to pay it because also I was fearing what could happen if I don't pay it. Yeah.
So I'm asking, his tone, was he requesting you to add, or he was like saying you have to add?
He was firm. I had to add. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so I just added just to be safe on my end as well.
And did you think that it was making sense for him to tell you to add? Was the place so remote that you know he could have wasted fuel going back without a rider?
Okay, maybe he could have wasted fuel, but that is what I was using, an application, and they had done their mathematics. Yes, so I didn't feel great to add. I would rather tip a person out of my own wishes, but not being forced to.
By the way, that makes sense, and actually it's illegal for any driver to force you to do anything like that, but also tipping is allowed. And actually if the driver maybe could have stayed quiet, out of your own understanding you could have added him maybe 100 or 150 on top. So for drivers, please let us be patient until the end. Some passengers actually will add you more money than the one you are asking to be added. So, and on the side of the passengers, before we finish, what do you think passengers should do right so that they don't trigger the emotions of drivers? You know, drivers today are very fragile. You say something small, they get angry because of, you know, the sun is hot, petrol is expensive, partner is asking for a lot of money. What advice can you give to your colleagues, to your fellow riders, so that you make the life of drivers as easy as possible?
To keep time, be there, be ready when you are requesting for that ride. Just keep time. It is respectful to the driver. Yeah. And
also please be tipping drivers. If you are paying through M-Pesa, always press your button ya ongeza za kutoa. Even if it's like 10 bob, it, you know, it heals the emotions of it shows the good intentions of that rider.
Yeah.
Sawa.
Yeah.
So abia wasikizaji wetu kwa heri.
So thank you so much. This is truly the channel for you to learn things to do with the digital driving apps. So keep it here and subscribe.
Bye bye guys.